Hello and good afternoon. My name is Dick Barr. I'm the managing broker owner of the Dick Barr Group Real Estate Brokers and Consultants. And in this short video, I'm going to give you advice that I've never given before in the history of my career in real estate. Is I know we're right before the holidays, but if you're looking to sell, there's never been a better time than right now to sell. And if you stick around and give me a minute to build my quick live audience, I'll explain why. Welcome back. Again, my name is Dick Barr. I'm the managing broker owner of the Dick Barr Group Real Estate Brokers and Consultants. And 2020 has been a really strange year for real estate. We started off the year a little bit anemic, and then when the pandemic hit, we just tanked for April, May, going into June. We were starting to get real nervous, thinking that homes wouldn't sell and people would be too afraid to sell their homes and buyers would be too afraid to walk into homes and view them. But as soon as May hit, the end of May going into June, we saw an incredible explosion, something we haven't seen in quite a while. So I'm going to show you some statistics today of why pricing your house today to sell, if you're looking to move, is probably the best time probably ever. Well, not ever, because when you look at our data, you'll see that even though we're at a long-time high, we're not at an all-time high. So I want to show you some of the data that I compiled. This is going back 10 years, and I chose four cities, Antioch, Grays Lake, Gurnee, and Lakeville and Round Lake Beach. I'm sorry, five. So who didn't I include in that? Gurnee. Grays Lake isn't in there, which is fine. Grays Lake is going to be somewhere towards the top, just below Gurnee as the median average. But what's very interesting to see is the sales prices have been climbing, in fact, climbing at a higher rate than they have at all in the past 10 years. And that's mostly due to the available product line. There's really not much out there. If you look at this graph represents in those four communities the number of homes available for sale on a rolling 12-month average. And if you look back in 2010, obviously 2010 was the height of the market crash, the real estate market crash, and Round Lake Beach had 700 homes on the market as a rolling 12-month average. Today, it's 127. You look at even Antioch, 300 homes open on the market 10 years ago, and then today, 127 homes on the market. And what I like to look at is what we call the month supply of homes. This is incredible. We have less than a 2.5 month supply of homes available on the market, which is why you're seeing house prices go up and why you're seeing homes sell so quickly in today's market. In light of the pandemic, or despite the pandemic, there's really been no chilling effect on real estate due to the pandemic. But what sellers have done that made this better or worse, depending on your point of view, is a lot of sellers have been sitting on the sidelines, not wanting to sell during the pandemic, which has created this immense demand. And I'm going to show you one of the metrics that I look at, which is the number of showings before a home is sold compared to how long it's been on the market. So if you look at the market time of the properties, looking back 10 years ago, between 150 and 200 days average time on the market before a contract, whereas today it's dropped relatively nothing. In fact, Round Lakes, we got 50 days on the market, Lake Villa 69 days, Antioch 82 days, and Gurnee 68 days. And keep in mind that is an average of total properties on the market, whereas in 2020 my average time on the market is 5 days. A few homes we sold even before we got it listed, but when we get the houses listed, they are going fast. But if you look at the showings per listing, now usually you correlate the number of showings per listing to be the higher this number is, the worse it is. And while that's genuinely accurate, because if a house is on the market for a long time, it's going to have a lot of showings, and therefore it could be a bad indicator. But what's happening right now is as soon as we get these homes listed, we are getting 15, 20, 25 showings in a single weekend, which is incredible. So the houses are selling 3, 4, 5 days of the houses we listed, but we're getting a lot of people in there, which is ideal for pricing for top dollar. If we can get a lot of competition coming in the market on that first weekend, and especially when it's really tight and then showings are buttoned up right next to each other and agents bringing in a buyer while this agent's bringing out a buyer, they just generates a lot of excitement. And because so many of the buyers have been getting beat out on a lot of their offers, they're coming in with offers that are over asking. Let's see, if we look at the market, the percent of, in fact, here, let me switch so you can see this full size instead of looking at my ugly mug. So this is the percent of list price that the homes are selling for. As you can see, back going 8 to 10 years ago, properties were being sold at around 90 to 92% of list price. And as you see, as we've gone along, we're at an almost 10-year high for all of the communities except Round Lake Beach, which Round Lake had a peak in 2014 where it was selling really close to list price. But showing you now that the average is 98%. So if a home's listed for $100,000, the average it's going to sell for is $98,000 compared to $92,000 to $94,000 10 years ago. And what's even more exceptional is if you look at my average for the past 12 months, I'm looking at 105% of list price. So that means when we get these properties listed, marketing, timing, getting the buyers in there, we are seeing 5% over our average list price, which is obviously phenomenal. And it's not like we're giving these away and we're pricing them low to get the higher offers. No, we're pricing these top of the market, and these offers are still coming in over list price. And if we go to, let's see here, contract to close is not that interesting. But if we look at the number of homes for sale, just one last time before we come out of this, we are at an all-time low in available properties. So that's why we're seeing this amazing spike. So why does that mean sell now? Let me back out of here. So what we always see is, if you ask me, when's a good time to sell? If you ask me in the fall, I'm going to tell you, wait until February, end of February, beginning of March, because that's the first litmus test of the annual market. That's when the buyers start to come out. There's not a lot of product available yet. So the sellers who list their property during end of February, beginning of March, they have a small advantage because not a lot of product. And buyers just starting to come. So it creates a demand. Now, if you wait until spring, that's more of a coin toss. If the market does well, February to March, and the homes disappear, and more buyers come out in the late spring, well then yes, the late spring's going to achieve a little bit more money. But if that early market never solidifies, those homes stay on the market, creating a huge lull in supply versus demand, which will cause a big drop off in late spring. We saw this happen about 3 years ago. Pretty famous for all real estate professionals. Market was doing great until Memorial Day, and then boom, as soon as Memorial Day hit, we went through this horrible summer where very few things were getting sold. And that's because the number of sellers that hit the market in February, March outpaced the number of buyers coming into the market. And it was just a very flat, anemic year. Now, luckily, the prices really didn't go down, but sellers were forced to wait for a year if they really was imperative that they achieved their asking price. So why am I saying sell now, not wait until February? Because this market has been as hot as it is, and of course there's no way to predict what the buyer demand will be in February, March, But we know it's hot right now. Eventually what's going to happen is all of those sellers, now you think about it, looking at this list of available homes, almost no product, which means there's a lot of pent-up sellers who will be listing their property. Now they know that the market's been good. If all of those sellers who should have sold in 2020 decide to sell in 2021, you add that to the buyers who would have normally sold in 2021, we could have a double supply of properties, which is not good for selling. Oh, excuse me. So your goal, if you're looking to sell, is to get it listed as soon as possible while the buyer demand is still hot. Again, we're getting 15 to 20 showings in a single weekend on each listing. And sometimes we're getting between 3 to 5 offers, which is creating an over asking price, sell price for the homes. If you want to capitalize on that market, you've got to do it now. And I know it's right before Christmas, but the reality is if you wait until February or March, there's no guarantee of what's going to happen. And we run the risk of getting a double supply of properties. I was the other day just doing some research in my own farm market. So just kind of want to show you. Give me 1 second here. This is one of the problems with being. There we go. Doing some of the research in my own farm market, which is the Country Walk subdivision of Round Lake Beach. And just, going back, I went back 14 years from 2006 to 2020. And want to I'm using this to highlight the fact that even though we're getting over asking price, it doesn't mean that we're listing it low to get more. We're just creating enough of a marketing excitement and demand. So going back 14 years, I took the top 4 agents by sales volume. My total sales volume was more than the next 3 agents combined, $8.5 million during that period. But what's more important than that is my average sale outpaced by about 4% over those same top agents and was not sacrificing time to do it. So while the average market time was about 30 days, the range between 18 days and 72 days, my average during that 14-year period was 18 days. In 2020, in that same market, my average market time was 5 days with an average sales price of 103% of list and outpaced the competitive realtors by about 3%. So this is not about doing, tricky pricing to get quick sales or to get over asking. No, it's literally listing these at top of market and having so much demand that the buyers are just clamoring for it. And a couple times we've got caught on appraisal, and that can happen. Whenever you're selling for over market value, which is what we're doing now, you do run the risk of getting an appraiser to come in and will ding you and say, well, there's not enough comparable sales to justify the price that you sold it at. And if that happens, there are options. Obviously, you can accept what the appraiser said, which happens more than the alternatives. Or sometimes you get lucky and you get that buyer who's willing to pay that difference and get on there. The problem is that once we get that bum appraisal, it's really difficult to break out of it, especially if it's an FHA loan, because it becomes near impossible to get a different FHA appraiser who will appraise it differently, because that appraisal sticks with the property for 6 months if it's FHA. So if you're looking to sell, do it now. Don't wait. I'd be happy to help you. Feel free. You can give me a call or text me at 847-644-1154, or you could email me at db@dbgrec.com, or visit me on the web at dickbarr.com. Real easy. DICKBARR.com. and see how we do it. See our marketing. See our drone videography. I'm a FAA licensed unmanned aircraft pilot, and we do all our droning, so we can afford to do drones on even the smallest of listings, where most agents who have to pay a few $100s to get a drone videographer, doesn't make sense on the small listing. So we can do it on them all. And we love the small properties just as much as we love the large properties. So happy to help. Get it on the market now if you're looking to sell. Don't wait until it's too late, because while this isn't a prediction that there'll be a double supply in February, it is something we need to consider when timing your market, timing your house to sell in the market. So thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope it was informative, and feel free to reach out with any questions.